Hey everybody, what's going on? We're going to take a look at Abyss today. I'm going to walk you through all three of my water teams. We have a triple S, fairly reliable triple S teams for all three of the water bosses here. So I'm going to take you through all of my units. You'll see a lot of the same units being used, but there are some changes, some minor changes as we go. So we'll start in Radiator. I am running the Water Ghost Captain, the Tree Turtle Tank, the Tree and Dark Sharpshooter, Fire Clockwork, and Tree Gunslinger. Basically, what the design is keep Tree Gunslinger alive and set him up to do damage. My Tree Sharpshooter is helping me a little bit with my damage output. And other than that, it's basically just set Gunslinger up to do damage, refresh his cooldowns so that he can do it frequently, and rinse and repeat, basically. This is the easiest of the three, I would say. This one is probably the one that you'll come in and try to set up first. And it's not so bad. If you have Tree Gunslinger, I should say. We'll work on getting some free-to-play teams in here, but we've talked a little bit about this. It kind of seems like in a lot of ways, he's not mandatory for it. It can be done without him, for sure. But he just makes it so much easier. It's such a different experience if you have him. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to be moving forward as you have him. Oh, the typo there. Started. So, but that's you see we got to skip the yellow phase because we were able to fill up the takedown meter. That's a nice thing to do as far as time, like saving time is concerned. So I might look to come in here and start improving some of the luck on some of these units. But for now, this is what we're running. So we'll finish this run up. We'll take a look at everybody's gear, and then we'll just do the same for the other dungeons. I don't really think it's necessary to do a separate video for every one of these, since they're pretty similar. So this might be kind of a long video, but I figure it's better to just have it all in one place than milk 3 videos out of it. But I'm going to be covering a lot of the same units anyway, you know what I mean? Now this, I don't really know what happened here. That typically doesn't happen. Usually, he's set up for more buffs. I wonder if I've changed someone recently that's negatively affected the way that this works. We're still gonna win, but yeah, that was a little odd. I know my turtle tank is geared a little differently, but I wouldn't think that would have affected my team in here. Let me take. I'm gonna take this because I don't have any of these at the moment. But anyway, that's the run. So again, basically what we're doing here, you'll notice that Tree Gunslinger is among the slowest on the team. She's slightly slower, which doesn't matter. But basically, it's get as much damage on this guy as you can. If you can swing Inspire sets on the rest of the team, that's great. I like a protection set here and there as well because it's an extra buff for Tree Gunslinger. If you wanted to try to sneak him in a Zeal set, that's an extra buff for him as well to kick things off. But I would not sacrifice the damage for it, as it's really not too hard to set him up for damage. You also want to make sure, you kind of just need to turn on everybody's AI for this. If his is off, sometimes he just won't use his A3 to open up. You know what I mean? It's annoying. It's annoying to me too, but that's the way it is. So I turn it on so that he never derps. Because if he derps, it changes the whole dynamic of the run. If his first turn, he doesn't bring the boss down out of the green, it changes the whole run. So in my experience, you need to have that turned on. And again, just stack damage. Now I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can get away with 55% crit rate on him. I think you only need 55% crit rate on him. He's going to get an extra 15 because he's got elemental advantage, and he's getting a crit buff from Clockwork, which gives him the other 30, which will put him at 100. So I think 55 is enough. He ended up with 76 the way that I've geared him, but you only need 55. So 55 crit rate, and then as much attack and crit damage as you can absolutely swing. And mine's around plus 30, which shouldn't matter too much. It's more about like when he goes and what everyone else is doing. So let's move on. We'll talk about our cooldown reducers. because these don't have to be these two. I like the Water Ghost Captain because he's got the attack lead for us, and I like the Turtle Tank because he's just so easy to use, and his cooldown reduction skill can be affected by other cooldown reduction skills. So if you get the right sync, Ghost Captain can reduce this cooldown, and he can use it again more frequently, which just lets Gunslinger do his thing more frequently, okay? But this guy basically put some speed on him. Build him, honestly, however you want to have him built. For whatever content you want to use him for, it doesn't really matter. I don't think it really matters how this guy is built. I would, if you're only using him for stuff like this, Inspire sets are great, Discover sets are great. As you can see, we snuck in another protection set here just to make that shield buff a little bit bigger so that it doesn't get knocked off in the first turn of Gunslinger. So anywhere you can pepper those in. But Inspire, Discover, protection sets are great to bring in here. And the big thing about him is set his priority. I put only one minion alive and high on here. And then for his cooldown reduction, I set it to mid if 2 or more allies are in cooldown. That's how I have him set up, so that he won't just burn this. Because if you're using him in other places like tunnel and stuff, he's probably going to be faster and probably going to be the fastest on the team even. And you want to avoid him wasting this. You don't want him opening the fight with this, which he absolutely will if you don't change his AI. So that's it for him. And then same for him. Now him. Did I turn his off recently? I might have tried to do something else with him recently. These two are going to be in the front, so one of them is going to catch the ray. So actually, I should probably set his to do that as well. Oh, that's why I didn't have his set, because you can't set his. Well, never mind then. So you could make him slower than Gunslinger. That would probably speed this up a little bit. Again, I've reworked some stuff lately, so it's a little bit different, but it still works fine. But you could probably have him be slower than Gunslinger, so that he comes in behind him and refreshes the cooldown. That's probably more ideal than how I have it set up. So a little slower. Other than that, doesn't really matter. Tanky enough to not die. Get some Inspire sets on him. He doesn't really need the accuracy. He's got a defense down, but so does the Sharpshooter, so it's not a big deal if he doesn't land it. And then, yeah, it might be worth bringing him in slower than Gunslinger, so that he comes in behind him and refreshes the cooldown quicker, okay? For the Tree Sharpshooter, just build her with damage and accuracy. And if you can load it, Inspire sets on her, and you want to throw another protection set or whatever on her, that's great too. But just build her for some damage. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter when she goes. Doesn't matter how fast she is. She's one that if you've got her built for other stuff and she's built decently, you could probably just bring her in here and have her do her thing. I've got her set up for other content, and it's fine. I don't really even think it matters how you set her AI. Just build her for some damage and bring her in and let her help. For the Dark Sharpshooter, I do want her accuracy. For her, accuracy is more important to me than damage, because I want the defense down and the mark reliable. I want them up because the mark is a lot of extra damage. So I focus accuracy more on her than I do damage. I've got some crit stats on her. I don't have a lot of attack, so she can still help a little bit with damage. But really, all I want her doing is landing the defense down and stuff. And then her AI. She might be one you could turn it off. Just let her do whatever she wants to do. I've got it on because I've got it on with her A2 on high. Specifically, in my head, the way it works, I haven't watched it in a while to make sure it's working, but in my head, she uses this first. Tree Gunslinger drops the boss, and then she has this available immediately when the boss is down, so we get our defense down on our mark as soon as possible. That's why that's set up like that. Now, if you wanted to play around with it and see if that even felt necessary for you, go for it, but that's how I have it set up. And then the Clockwork, he just needs to go before Gunslinger to get the buffs up. I think he needs to have over 50 luck to be reliable in getting all 3 buffs up. I was trying, I think I had him around like 44 and 46 a couple times, and it was hit or miss. Sometimes I'd get 3 buffs, sometimes I'd get 2. I think if you get him over 50, it's all 3 buffs are guaranteed. And that seems to be the way that it works. And then enough HP to not die, and faster than Gunslinger, and he's good to go. If you can do it with Inspire / protection / discover, great. Inspire, you are going to want some Inspire peppered around. So I would say get as much Inspire as you need to make sure that he can delete a boss phase. He needs to be able to delete green. You need to be able to clear the takedown meter. That's very helpful. And then he needs to be able to delete red. You don't want to be hanging around. This team is not really designed to take a bunch of hits. So you want to make sure he's got enough damage to delete when he does his A3. And once you hit that threshold, then you can start looking for you discover and other things like that. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the setup of the team. For his intelligence, I have his A2 on low because I don't care if he does it much. And then him, I just want him doing this as much as possible. I want the buffs going up as much as possible. So that's it for the Radiator team. Fairly straightforward. And not too bad if you have Tree Gunslinger. Now, for Spreader, you see a lot of the same units here. And then Bookworm. Now, I think this one there's a difference in the way that I set him up. I believe or maybe not. Let me do a run real quick. Let's do a run real quick and see, because there's something in my head that says that I might have made an adjustment at one point that made it where I didn't have to remember to swap the AI around. So maybe we're good now. But it's a similar concept, except now there's 2 units to set up. So we need to make sure that Bookworm is set up to clear the minions. And we want him to do that before Tree Gunslinger gets a turn. Because Tree Gunslinger's A3 actually hits randomly. So if there's more than one target, he's going to hit not the boss, and he's not going to do nearly as much damage as we need him to do. So Bookworm needs to be faster than Gunslinger for this team. Or whoever your AoE damage is. I don't know that it has to be Bookworm. Bookworm makes it much easier. But if you've got any good AoE damage, I would imagine Tree Dr. Evil is fine in here. And any good AoE nukers should probably be fine. It's just a matter of whether or not you can get the damage on them. But you can see it. Other than that, it's going to be a very familiar looking, run. We're just setting Gunslinger up to do ridiculous Gunslinger things. And the way that it works out, Bookworm should have his AoE ready. And the next turn, Gunslinger should have his A3. Should be how that works out. And there you go. So again, Turtle Tank. Was that my new best? How about that? Let me take the Inspire one, I think. So Turtle Tank, again, just kind of built however, wherever. AI the same. No changes to him in here. No changes to Sharpshooter. No changes to Gunslinger. No changes to Clockwork. And no changes to Ghost Captain. The only thing that needs to be different is you need a good AoE nuker to come in and be faster than Gunslinger. You need those minions gone before Gunslinger uses his A3. And Bookworm is a very popular option for it. So again, just load him up with as much damage as you can get and make him faster than Gunslinger. And that's how that works. That's it. As far as his intelligence, that's how it looks. Only one that's for his dungeon runs. And then I don't want him burning these in other situations. So he won't. And for this, it's nice because he won't do them. He won't use his AoEs if it's just the boss. He's only going to A1 into the boss. And then when the minions come up, he has an AoE available to get rid of them so that Tree Gunslinger can comfortably do what he does. Okay, but that's it. No changes required. Virtually the same team. Now, for the Scavenger. Scavenger was quite a headache. Scavenger was quite a headache for me to solve. So what I need to do is a run, because I would have sworn one of these dungeons required me to change some stuff. So let's watch this one real quick. I think it doesn't though. I think this is also going to work. I must have made some tweaks a few weeks ago and can't remember why, but basically for this one's trickier. This one's trickier. If you have Water Nurse, her attack lead makes this much more manageable. If you don't have Water Nurse, then you need a few things to come in here and be successful. You need big burst damage. And you need protection. You need pretty substantial protection. Because very quick, what happens is this dungeon has a shield. And the more hits it takes you to break the shield, the more damage you're going to take when the shield breaks. And it ramps up fairly quickly. You need to be able to really burst that shield down. But you also have to have some sort of protection, because it will kill your squishies unless your gear quality is just through the roof for this. Most of your team's going to die. Like if you take more than 20 hits, and probably not even 20, and you don't have a shield up, you're probably going to lose some units. And when you start losing units, it's over. So for me, that protection comes from my Wind Specialist. I have her on a pure HP build. She is not... I don't really have a lot of speed on her. Everyone else is the same. Everyone else comes in here the same. But she's in here to offer me that protection. So we'll talk a little bit about how she's set up here shortly. But again, everyone else comes in here the same as they do in the other dungeons. And if you have the Water Nurse, she's going to help you get through that shield so quick that the damage you're going to take is going to be negligible. So you probably won't need the protection. So if you have her, put her in the spot that I have Tree Specialist in. Guys, what are you doing back there? You're vibrating the whole cage. If you have Tree Specialist, she helps. You can try it with Tree Occult Dancer. You will need some beefy heals on her. Some beefy HP, so that the shield. Does her shield even go off her max HP? I don't remember. Ideally, you need someone that places a shield based on their own HP that you can just load up. Okay. Ooh, I'll take that. I'll take that. So again, everyone else in here is the same as they've been in every other dungeon. For her, HP percentage, HP percentage, HP percentage. I did find a little bit of speed in the substats, and I did need to skill her up for this, which was not the most fun thing I've ever done. I was not excited about skilling her up, but I really felt like I had no other solution. And then her AI is just on with this on high, because I just want her doing it as frequently as she can make it happen. I don't care about the A2. I don't care about the A1. I just want her doing this as much as humanly possible, because I need that shield to be up constantly. So that's it. Everyone else is the same. Big damage, Inspire sets where you can get them. And I've got protection on her so that we start off with a bigger shield, so that it's just that much more likely that my Tree Gunslinger will not lose the shield at the beginning of the fight. And then that's it. Just big support from her. So again, if you've got Water Nurse, you can put her in the spot and run her as lead, because she's got like a 42% attack lead, which just makes it so much easier to pump out damage. But Tree Gunslinger and Tree Sharpshooter are like my big sources of damage here. They're what are helping me get through that shield so quickly. So I say quickly, as quickly as we can. And then Tree Specialist is the one helping me survive the revenge. So that was my solution to it. You maybe... Oh, see, it only equals her level. It doesn't scale with her HP. If you don't have Tree Specialist and you don't have Water Nurse, then it might be worth going into the bestiary and looking for someone that does a shield on all allies based on their own HP, which just doesn't seem like there's much of that. Doesn't seem like there's much of that, unfortunately. Shield based on her level, yeah. Tricky, man. It's tricky. Almost feel like it could use a little bit of a tune, because it seems like there's a handful of units that are borderline necessary for it. But anyway, those are the teams that I'm running. That's how they're set up, and for the most part, it's the same across the board. Minor change for every dungeon. So I hope this helps you put something together for it. It's not so bad if you have Tree Gunslinger. If you don't have Tree Gunslinger, it's going to be a little bit more of a headache. and I will be working on some stuff that does not require Tree Gunslinger for this. So if you're waiting to pull him, hopefully you'll pull him soon and you won't need that. But if you don't pull him, I'm hoping sometime in the nearest future to have some content out that doesn't require him for this. So that's it. I hope it was helpful. Hopefully you can get it set up and get it running. Let me know how it goes in the comments. If you need some extra advice, you can hop in my Discord and holler at me or anyone else in the community. I'm sure they'd be happy to help. But that's it. I'm going to wrap this one up here. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you later.